Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. I'm your host, Sblend Sblendorio. Joining me today is Mayor John Marchand from the beautiful city of Livermore. Welcome, John.
Always a pleasure to be here, Sblend.
Well, I know you've got some hot news you want to talk about at the start of the show. What is it?
Well, okay, so Mayor's choice, and this is a big choice. This is a fun one. So as you may know, the city of Livermore has been in a long series of litigation since 2018 about the downtown. So there have been lawsuits and elections and what I call the group of many names. It's the same half dozen people, but they just changed the name of the organization to lend some air of legitimacy to make it look like they're bigger than they actually are. But at last count, there are 11 names to this same group. Vibrant Livermore, Livermore Downtown, Take Back Livermore, Save Livermore Downtown, Community Park, all these different iterations. It's the same group. So there was a lawsuit with, so they've been involved in lawsuits, elections. They've lost 14 of the last 15 elections. So, and they continue to say, well, this is what the people want. Well, then why have you lost 14 of the last 15 elections? So this last go around, there was a series of lawsuits, and they lost pretty much every lawsuit, except the one lawsuit that they won didn't go the way they wanted it to. What it did is it made the referendum that they filed was actually, they wanted to stop the housing. The courts ruled that the only thing that was legislative and therefore was subject to a referendum was the park. Well, the park was the one thing that everybody wanted. So the park is what ended up getting delayed. So we got through the lawsuit, and then the courts ruled that the park was referendable. But then this group of many names wanted to get their legal fees returned, and the courts ruled that no, you're not entitled to the legal fees because there was no benefit conferred upon the residents. So no, you're not entitled to it. So that was almost $750,000, just wasted. But the city once again prevailed, and so we're moving on ahead. And we had the groundbreaking for Eden Housing not long ago, and for Stockman Park. So we're still looking at least a year of remediation. They've still got to apply for the tax credit financing, but it's moving ahead. And I said we just saved $750,000, so okay. It's all good.
All right, congratulations. You recently sat on the Tri-Valley's Mayor's Summit, which was a few weeks ago. And can you give our viewers an idea, why is there a Tri-Valley Mayor's Summit, and what topics did you discuss?
Okay, so one of the fun things about being a mayor in the Tri-Valley is, it used to be, because I've been in this in these waters for a number of years, it used to be that when somebody was patting you on the back, they were looking for a place to put the knife. And one of the great things about working in the Tri-Valley is that we all work together. We understand that when the tide comes in, all the boats rise. So how do you best facilitate to having that economic development, to create this sense of place where people want to be? They want to live here, they want to create their companies here, they want to invest here. So that's why it's important to have all the mayors come together to speak about the Tri-Valley. And yeah, we kind of poke elbows at each other once in a while, but we understand how important it is to create this environment. We don't build stuff. What we do is we create the environment where people want to come in and build things. So the Mayor's Summit is an opportunity for all the mayors to come together, and then people from the region have an opportunity to come in and listen to what is important to the mayors, because in the grand scheme of things, we're all dealing with the same thing. Right. We're dealing with affordable housing. We're dealing with business development. transportation, homelessness, public safety. Public safety continues to be one of the number one thing in our budgets, and we're seeing the benefit of that because this typically is a very safe region because we do invest in public safety.
Right.
So we're dealing with the same things and how we can best collaborate. So literally, we have gone back to Washington, D.C. and met with our elected representatives in D.C., and we have brought back millions of dollars in investments to benefit the local residents here. One of the big investments recently was the overcrossing there at Bollinger Canyon Road. Now, Bollinger Canyon, that's not in Livermore, but it's a benefit to the Tri-Valley because it makes getting around the Tri-Valley easier. And they got that benefit because we spoke to the elected representatives, and so Livermore may get the next one. Or because, for example, a few years ago, when Jerry McNerney represented this area, we brought back $1 million for our Tri-Valley Housing Opportunity Center. Okay. So these grants rotate around, and that's why we work together, is so that we can advocate for the region. Livermore is 85,000 people. Pleasanton's about 75,000. Dublin the same. So we aren't large cities unto ourselves. But collectively, we're a third of a million people, and that makes people take notice.
Right. Right. Okay. Great, John. And you, I know you were lucky enough. It was actually, well, it was outside of Livermore, but it was hosted by the Livermore Chamber of Commerce, and you had it at a beautiful scene at Garay Winery, right?
Yeah. Well, I like to think of Garay as actually being in Livermore. It's a Livermore address.
It's a Livermore address.
But yeah, it's out in the county, but what a beautiful venue. You're out there, you're out in the vineyards and the hills around it. It's a beautiful location.
Right. And great views from the windows, right? Yep. Great views. All right, thank you, John. All right, let's talk about something. It was exciting, but once again, Livermore hosted the Little League Intermediate 50-70 Baseball World Series, and it was exciting. There was a lot of excitement. Tell our viewers about all the excitement.
Well,
why you're so proud.
Well, it was a great series. So we have had the 50-70 Little League World Series, Intermediate World Series, for 13 years. Now, we had kind of a hiccup there during COVID, but we've been hosting this. And I got to give a shout out to Dave Wetmore and Bill Boomrod and Kathleen Mincer, because they really have been the driving force behind this. The Park District and the city have stepped up as well. But I think there are some times when Bill Boomerod goes out there with a pair of scissors and is actually cutting the field, because he just takes such wonderful care of that field. It's at Max Bear Park. And one of the fun little pieces of trivia that I love, because it just everything's related. So as you know, Livermore was founded in 1869 with the Transcontinental Railroad when it was completed. Well, 1869 was the beginning of, that was when the Cincinnati Red Stockings became the first professional league team, and that was the beginning in 1869 of professional Major League Baseball. So when Livermore was founded, it was the same year that Major League Baseball was founded. So these are 11 to 13-year-olds. And they love the game. The passion and the enthusiasm that you see out there is really quite exciting. I was there for the championship game when Livermore, Granada, took the United States championship, and so we're in the fifth inning, and there was a bobbled play at second, and I thought, that's it. We're done. They scored 3 runs, and I figured it was going to be a battle to bring this one back. And these kids dug in, and they dug deep, and they won. And that was very exciting, seeing the passion that they have for the game. Then the next night, and of course ESPN is covering this. This is a big deal. So ESPN covered it. And they played against Seoul, South Korea. Now these are 11 to 13-year-olds. a lot of the kids on the South Korean team are bigger than I am. I don't know where they find these kids, but they draw from a much larger pool. I mean, they're drawing from an area of 6 million people. We're drawing from 85,000. And I think that speaks to the passion that these kids have in the game. So they lost, Grenada lost to South Korea 11-4, but these kids never gave up. They dug in, they fought, and I'm extraordinarily proud. So we're going to be bringing the team to a council meeting to recognize the tremendous efforts that they put into this. So putting Livermore on the map and the love of the game. So the world comes to Livermore to play and to celebrate baseball.
Well, that was really exciting. Really exciting. It was really exciting to see, especially for the kids too. I mean, and of course the parents.
Yeah.
All right, John. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back on this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. I'm here with Mayor John Marchand. Welcome back, John.
Good to be here.
Let's follow up a little bit on the World Series that was recently held for 11 to 13-year-olds in Livermore. I know you want to talk a little bit about one thing, but I do want you to ask or tell us about all the countries that participated.
Well, this really is a World Series. I mean, they were from Canada. They came in from Puerto Rico. Mexico, they came in from Australia. I was talking to the manager from Australia. We exchanged pins. So literally, these are teams from all over the world, and which makes it that much more exciting for the kids because they may never go to these countries, but yet they've made friends with these teammates. They're going to last for a lifetime. But again, showing how the community involvement. So Councilmember Evan Branning threw out one of the first pitches. Police Chief Jeremy Young threw out a first pitch, and Councilmember Stephen Dunbar sang the national anthem. So all these multi-talented people. So it was a lot of fun. It really was. But we all got involved in that.
That's great. No, that's awesome. Yeah, what a great time. What a great experience for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's talk about cooperation. Let's talk about more intergovernmental cooperation.
I was going to launch into song there for
I thought you were. Can you discuss the areas of cooperation between, obviously we live in Alameda County, but there's so many opportunities and times where the county and the city of Livermore cooperate that benefit the residents. And I know one obvious example is emergency responsiveness with mutual aid and things like that. But can you give our viewers some idea of the level of cooperation between the county and the city?
Yeah, well, certainly. We have a Livermore Pleasant Fire Department participates in the county level dispatch system and our mutual aid. This was really highlighted just recently when we had, now they call it the Little Fire.
Yeah.
No, it's the Little Valley Fire because it wasn't a little fire. It was over 1,000 acres.
Yeah, as if it was a campfire.
And it grew fast. It was extraordinarily fast, and it was over 1,000 acres, over 1,900 structures. Ruby Hill was threatened, and so it forced the evacuation of over 6,000 people. But yet, because of the proximity of Lake Del Valle, the Quarry Lakes and the like, we had aerial assault teams on this. CAL FIRE was there, the Livermore Fire Department, and the county fire department was out there. So we were able to bring all of this mutual aid. And so when you're dealing with emergencies, when you're dealing with hazardous materials, this cooperation is extraordinarily important because you're bringing together all of this expertise. We just had a meeting with the Livermore Pleasant Fire Department Joint Powers Authority, and we talked about one of the assets that we have is the National Laboratory. Well, you know, when you're dealing with hazardous materials and you have people at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory that are a part of that conversation, those types of mutual agreements are extraordinarily important because they allow for extremely fast response. And in any emergency, a fast response is absolutely critical to prevent something like that from getting bigger. And because we were able to respond so fast to the Little Valley fire, that's how we kept little and not overrunning Ruby Hill. So these partnerships are extraordinarily important, and also community education, where you're talking about keeping vegetation down, keeping that defensible space. Right. You know, they're all very important things. Homelessness is another one. You know, the county is, they're the agency responsible for maintaining things like Measure W. Well, Measure W is where the funding comes for homelessness. We have Measure A1, which provides for affordable housing. Right. So the county is really very important when it comes to that coordinated entry into the homelessness system, where we assign people, caseworkers, to lift themselves out and become self-sustaining, to be able to lift themselves out of homelessness. So this cooperation with the county is extraordinarily important because we work with our nonprofit partners within the community to coordinate all this activity. And the most important thing is the funding, and the county controls that funding, not the cities.
Yeah, it's a great partnership, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
Any other areas of cooperation you'd like to mention?
Behavioral health is another one.
Exactly.
And behavioral health is very closely tied in with homelessness, because if people are struggling with mental illness, that translates into being able to hold down a job or to hold down where your housing is. Similarly with health care. Just something as we have found that one healthcare emergency can take somebody from housing and put them into homelessness.
Well, and John, I mean, you sat on the Zone 7 board, which is technically a part of the county. It's owned separate, but it is, aligned with the county. You know, for stormwater management and water, providing clean water. You know, that partnership with the city of Livermore is vital to the health and safety of all the residents.
No question. And flood control. You know, it's the Alameda County Flood Control and Water Conservation District Zone 7. So I was on the board for Zone 7, which was interesting because that was a dependent board. They were dependent on Alameda County, and I also worked for the Alameda County Water District, which was an independent board within Alameda County. So working on both of those things. But bottom line, the cooperation with the county is critically important for the allocation of resources throughout the valley.
Right. Well, John, let's switch a little bit. Something that just concluded, and I know your boys and my kids participated in the Livermore Library's summer reading program, and they had an outlandish goal to read collectively 6 million minutes during the summer. And I know, I think you are going to eventually have the kids come into the council chambers and of course recognize them for all they did. But so, did they meet the goal? And tell us a little bit more about the program.
Well, they blew that goal out of the water, I'm very pleased to say. We've shaken hands as a council with over 600 kids that have come in, and very proud of the program. And what's fun is you see these children come in and they'll have a half a dozen medals around their neck, because they get a medal when they complete the program. And these kids that are in there time and time again. I think I mentioned Joya Fodu, one of the keynote speakers at the State of the Tri-Valley. Last year I was talking with her at the State of the Tri-Valley, and she recounted how proud she was when she had the opportunity to meet the mayor after the summer reading program. And I just quickly did the math, and I said, that was me. That was a lot of years ago, but that was me. But the pride in her voice, and that was 10 years before that she was so proud of having gone through that program. So we've got kids that from babies to adults that are part of this program, children that can't read, infants. Part of that time that we include is being read to, because being read to is so important. I remember with my kids, they made sure that they were warm and comfortable, and so that they associated reading with being safe and protected and comfortable. So it creates this nice environment that you hearken back to. So you associate reading with good things. There were over 5,800 people that signed up for this, almost 2,000 at the City Civic Center Library alone. So there are a lot of benefits that they got from this. And I have to say, thank you to the sponsors. Meadowlark Dairy, if they read a certain number of books or committed to this, there was a certain level where they got a free ice cream cone. They were part of LARPD, gave them a free pass to the pool. They had a Switch 2. I guess a PlayStation Switch 2, I don't know. But a stay at the Great Wolf Lodge for 4, a pair of Hoka shoes from Sunrise Mountaineering. So a lot of great incentives, aside from the fact of just being part of this program to read and to go places that you may never be, but you can be there by reading, and so that enjoyment as well.
Making learning fun.
Yeah. So it's the fun stuff, and so look forward to when we have the students come to the kids come to the council meeting and have the opportunity to congratulate them for completing the journey.
And wear out your right hand. Shaking their hand.
Yeah, as I said, we've had as many as 660 kids come through there. It's but that's the fun stuff, because they remember. Because how do you know something's important? Well, the mayor's there. and that's how you know it's important, is the mayor's there.
All right, so let's wrap up here. I know there's lots of stuff going on in the city, even though we're at the end of the summer, but tell us what's upcoming events you have.
Okay, the biggest one right now is going to be September 19th. September 19th is our Community Service Day. We're sort of redoing it this year. It used to be that we'd start off at the library and then go off. Well, what we're doing now is instead we're going to meet at the Robert Livermore Community Center. People can go online to livermoreca.gov/CSD, standing for Community Service Day. And they can sign up for a project, and these projects are limited, they go any type of ability. If you can handle a paintbrush, we've got painting down at Hageman Ranch. We're throwing mulch all over the city, at parks, at school sites. They've got weeding, planting, anything that you want to do. Sign up, and again, livermoreca.gov/CSD. We're going to start out with a breakfast, a community breakfast. As I said, normally what we've done is we've gone out, done the projects, and we've come back for lunch. This year, we're flipping it the other way around. We want to make sure that people are well fed before they go out and do the work, so we get more work out of them, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll be full, they'll go out. The Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department Foundation is going to be cooking the breakfast. Breakfast, again, is going to be at the Robert Livermore Community Center starting at 8 a.m. They get breakfast. It's going to be a pancake breakfast, probably some sort of breakfast meat, whether sausage or bacon. But again, the foundation is going to be putting that together. And then fortified, we're all going to go out into the community and do great things to beautify Livermore and keep Livermore the great place that it is.
All right, John. You want to give that to sign up? What the site
Okay.
again?
Once again, it's 8 o'clock. Community breakfast at the Robert Livermore Community Center. They can go to the city website at livermoreca.gov/CSD for Community Service Day. Pick a project that you want, and I'll see you out here in the city on that Saturday morning, September 19th.
Well, thank you, John, for being here with us.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you for watching this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Sblend Sblendorio. Thank you so much for joining us.